Alright, so first off, I'm gonna say that that fellow who attacked all of us, I'm letting him off the hook, and here's why. My anger has all been channeled into something else. And I'm gonna close this so I don't accidentally look at the screen, because I want to stare directly at you guys. This is gonna be about Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's gonna be about Capcom. I know you guys have probably seen plenty of videos about this. And that was the point. I wanted to watch those videos. And I wanted to see what other viewpoints, ideas, and just things that people have noticed, have them express those, kind of take those in, and see where I came out with my opinion. Now, I made a bunch of notes, so I'm going to be referring to my screen a bit, because I really didn't want to miss anything. So we're going to start with Street Fighter, okay? We're going to start with Street Fighter. Alright, so there weren't a lot of fighting games came out from Capcom. Not a whole lot of like tournament. We're still playing Marvel's Capcom 2 at Evo and stuff, and then Street Fighter 4 hits, and there's a bunch of hype behind it. It's 4. It's their first real fighting game in a while that they've really put out there, and there's not a whole lot in it. There's no spectator, no replay, no endless, none of that stuff. But it was still a solid fighter. There were a lot of people who loved it, a lot of people that got into it, including myself. And you know what? It was worth the money that I spent on it. The only DLCs it really did for us were the costumes. Now, in about more than a year later, they came out with Super, and there was a lot of hype behind that. I remember everyone being like super hyped about that. We got DJ, we got T-Hawk, we got all these new characters. I got Hakan, which is like, funny as hell. I still can't play the guy, but I have a lot of fun playing him. And that was like a $40 game. We were like, okay, $40, we can deal with that. Most of us can deal with that. And overall, most people agree that it was an improvement. We got 10 new characters. We got a bunch of tweaks. The game was pretty well balanced. We had the replay. We had endless. We had everything we asked for. They listened and they gave it to us. We bought it. It was great. They still gave us DLC costumes, that whole 9 yards, and we were content. We were content. Okay, we can look back and say, oh, they shouldn't have done that. They should have. No, but at the time, we were content. We can't fucking lie to ourselves. Now, then they came out with Arcade Edition in actual arcades. And at first I was, getting ready to, start going off on Arcade Edition. I was watching DSP's thoughts on it, and he did bring up a good point. Arcades are pissed. Over here they're not that big. Over there they're bigger, and they're pissed. Like, look, all these people have Super. There's 10 new characters. All this crap. No one's playing vanilla anymore. We're losing money. This is on your heads. Give us, Super. Give us something that people will come in here and play. So they gave them Arcade Edition. They gave them, Yin and Yang. They gave them some more tweaks. They gave, a couple additions, subtractions for different characters. And they eventually came out with Evil Ryu and Oni. And they were supposed to be released like that to keep people going to the arcade, to keep the arcades happy. And it wasn't meant to be that balanced, because it's an arcade. You're going there more for like the cheap pop. It's not a like full substantial thing. You're going in there for like the cheap, kind of thrill of it. It's kind of like you can either play through, say, all of Final Fantasy and get to the meat of the game and the meat of all the strategy behind it, or you can use the Game Genie. After doing such hardcore shit with Final Fantasy, it's kind of fun. Plug in the Game Genie, just fuck around with shit. It is. We've done it with different, a lot of us back when Game Genie was, what you used. We did that. We still got more of a kick out of playing it the way it should be played. But, not gonna lie, sometimes it's fun just plugging in the Game Genie and just screw around. And that's essentially what the Arcade Edition was. And it wasn't meant to be released to us. But we bitched, we complained, we said we want all these. And they were like, okay. Here you go. We'll give you a couple. We'll give you Arcade Edition. Give you a mode or two more. Do some stuff here, and you guys will be happy, right? Well, we would be happy if it was a balanced game. Arcade Edition wasn't made to be balanced, and now that they gave it to us, we're all were bitching that, oh, well, it's not balanced. Well, of course it wasn't. It wasn't made to be balanced. It wasn't made to be released to us. But Capcom's like, well, they're complaining, so let's just give them Arcade Edition. And now, like, you know, Evo was all fucked up with all the yuns and Fei Longs and bullshit flying through there. Like, I can't remember, someone said how many, it was DSP, I think, said. I think it was DSP that said it. Like, the top 24, like, maybe 2/3 of them were all yuns or Fei Longs. You know? And now they're like, well, we'll put out a patch for it. Well, no, you should have patched it before you gave it to us, so you would give us a balanced game. But in all fairness, AE, you can still play Super, and for DLC, which I'm sure most of us actually got, it was $15. $15 for 4 new characters, a couple tweaks. Even though we knew we weren't going into balanced, it was just more stuff. Okay, I'll deal. Street Fighter gets a pass on my rage right now. Now we go on to Marvel vs. Capcom. So they gave us a bare bones version of Marvel vs. Capcom. We all know it, alright? Bare bones. Was, you know, the fighting at its core, you know, what we wanted? It was. It was what we wanted. There were a couple of characters that, you know, initially came out, you know, overpowered as we thought. And they showed us that they can patch it when Sentinel got nerfed. They showed that they can just patch those fixes in there. You know? You remember that patch? Everyone remembers that patch. Remember any other patches? Nope. It would be nice if they patched our game. Now, I'm gonna also be frank. We wouldn't be as pissed at Ultimate if they didn't release the leaked characters. Alright, I'm just going to throw that out there before I get really deep into this. I'm going to refer to this so I don't miss anything. So, bare bones. But we still played it. It's still Marvel vs. Capcom. And we are still enjoying it as it is. There's still combos and new stuff being learned all the time. Now, none of the Street Fighter editions came out within a year of each other. Vanilla was February 2009. Super was April of 2010, and Arcade Edition was June of this year. So they're all given more than a year to build, and most of the characters haven't changed that much. Like, yeah, we all got a secondary Ultra, but that just gives us more options, and I like more options. So what are we getting with Ultimate? Well, let's see, we're still gonna have to pay for those 2 DLC characters. We have Spectator Mode, which I believe Angry Joe said that there was a quote saying Spectator Mode was supposed to be initially in it, and when they figured it out, it would be a patch. A patch. Not pay for Spectator Mode, a patch. Now we have to pay for Spectator Mode. There's no tournament brackets. There's no teams, and no replays. All of those we got from Super. We got, what was it, 10 new characters with Super. With new Ultras, whole bunch of tweaks, and it was more balanced. With this one, what is it? Oh, here's my quote. Here's my favorite quote, and I wrote this down for a specific reason. Ryota Nitsuma stated that fan demand might affect future DLC. Bullshit. And I'm gonna read what I have written, okay? Just give me a minute. Then why do we have 10 shadow battles that no one wants and 1 package of DLC costumes? Remember that package of DLC costumes when it first came out, when Marvel vs. Capcom first came out? And we're like, oh, costumes, these look cool. Do you remember any others? Nope. Now, we get to choose what pre-order costumes we want. And then later we'll have to buy them. You know, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months after the games come out, we can get more DLC costumes. Something that we would have actually paid for, not Shadow Battle. Yeah. But you can't be mad at them, because the tsunami affected their plans. Really? 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 Didn't stop him from updating my events, throwing new Shadow Battle packs at me. Remember the PSN went down? It went down. Yeah, there's a whole lot of news about it. Went down for quite a while, actually. When it came out, did they send us a disc of all the DLC we missed for our games? No. They just threw it all up there, one day at a time. Just, here you go. Sorry you missed it. Nothing we could do. Here you go. You know what you could have done, Capcom? You know what you could have done? Throw the characters up. If it affected your schedule, then you know what you adjust your schedule. Then as soon as you can, you go, hey guys, here are 2 characters. Here are 3 characters. Here's the DLC. Here's more DLC. Here's more DLC. Thank you, Capcom. That would have been wonderful. We're not dealing with precious china. We're not dealing with furniture. We're not dealing with breakable objects. We're dealing with data, with bits, with bytes, with polygons, with stuff online. The tsunami? Yeah. You guys got shaken up. You guys are still in like some bad shape. I understand that shit. I do. I also understand there's more than one place that Capcom is situated. Capcom is not all in Japan. It's around the globe. It's a company. Okay? There's no taking out the heart of Capcom in Japan and all of Capcom just crumbles at its feet. No. 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 You still have it. Do it. It's not that hard. Oh yeah, but listening to fans. Listening to fans. Okay, this one I need to refer here. Okay. The fans will affect future DLC. Alright. I'm not sure if you guys remember, when Marvel's Capcom came out, within a month there was a poll on Capcom Community where people voted for what characters they wanted in future DLC. Around 10,000 people voted. That's a lot of fans. You know who they voted for? Their top 4 for Capcom? And I'm not going to pick on Marvel. Alright? I'm not going to pick on the raccoon or anything. That decision comes from Marvel. That's the final decision comes from Marvel. Not from Capcom. So Marvel characters get a pass. So if you want to bitch about Rocket Raccoon, go on the Marvel forums and complain to Marvel. Even though the Raccoon nor Nova was on a 50 character option list. Just saying. So the top 4 for Capcom. Strider, Mega Man X, Phoenix Wright, Frank West. Alright, so top 4. 3 of them are in there. Not sure why Mega Man's there. Or isn't there. Because he's number 2. And number 6. And number 18. 3 different versions. 3 different versions of Mega Man were on that list. Top 20. 2 of them, top 6. So, what if the other characters get? Those other 3 characters that the fans demanded that Capcom has complete control over. Virgil was at 7. Not that bad, I suppose. Firebrand was at 28. Nemesis was at 31. You want to know who, via fan input, you know who is above those guys? Ryu. No. Not Street Fighter Ryu. Breath of Fire Ryu. Do you know who Ryu is from Breath of Fire? If not, then that proves my point of just how much people didn't want Firebrand or Nemesis. Oh, now we get to my favorite part. We get to my favorite part now. Because I can complain and bitch about Capcom all I want. And trust me, I want to. They fucked over my Mega Man, my Universe, and my Legends. Oh, Legends. That still pisses me off. And it probably will continue to piss me off. A lot. Although there are many other things I could be pissed off about. You know, not localizing all the Phoenix Wright games. Even though they're putting Phoenix Wright in Marvel's Capcom. Or how about Resident Evil? I don't play Resident Evil. But I sure as fuck, if I want to play Resident Evil, I would like the option to play through Resident Evil again. Not have my save file locked. But, you know, let's all let slide. Begrudgingly slide. My least favorite part about this, there are a lot of people who seem to be turning a blind eye to it. And it's not that they haven't been approached with this. No. You know as well as I do. Everyone who's involved in the fighting game community, in the media of the fighting game community, has been approached about this whole Ultimate Marvel's Capcom thing. Have they all responded about it? Have they discussed it? No. Event Hubs does. They post any news about the games, positive or negative. Why? Because they should. Because that's what the gamers want to talk about. Reviewers, bloggers, YouTubers, they talk about it. Now, I love some of these guys too. You know, Max, he kind of discussed it with the characters individually and sort of touched upon it, but never really got into the controversy. And mind you, Maximilian, I love his stuff. But really should be approaching the whole core meat of this whole debate. Because he's a pretty big name with the whole online Marvel stuff. Can you think of someone else big that has really talked about it? I know Angry Joe did. He's not big into it, but he made a damn good argument. So did DSP. He's not that huge into it. He made a really good argument. Who else made a really good argument? Hold on. Someone else made a really good argument. I want to make sure I don't leave them out. Dayasha made a really good argument. Dayasha had a whole discussion about this. It was a really good argument. You know, he made some points. A little more littered with, obscenities than mine. But he made some good points. You know who won't talk about it? You have to bleed Ryota to actually say anything. Fucking Seth Killian is all gumdrops and rainbows about this bullshit. Capcom's not fucking saying anything. SRK isn't saying anything. SRK pisses me off more. You know why? They're a fighting game forum. They're a forum for fans of fighting games to go on and discuss things. And while I understand they have to keep the trolls and have to keep, people regulated on those forums, I understand this. But you know what? If there's an issue with a fighting game, if there's controversy about a fighting game, you know where I'm going to go? To a fighting game forum or fighting game community to talk to people about it, to discuss it positively or negatively. And I can understand that if someone's just being negative for the sake of being negative, that they might be banned, blocked, or locked out. I can understand that. I can understand a thread of a similar aspect being locked. They're outright banning anyone from discussing it unless it's gumdrops and rainbows. If you don't believe that this is the best it should be, what was it? He locked someone's thread because they talked about this. And what was it they told him? They told him, where was it? Yeah, because it isn't the place. Yeah, it is. They also told him it isn't the place, and that the game's coming out, and you should deal with it. They said this while Capcom was screwing SRK up the ass. There was a while back that Laswaga was talking about the community in SRK. And that's a community. You're going to find positive and negatives in a community. We're talking about the people moderating and running SRK. If discussing what I do and don't like about a fighting game on a fighting game forum isn't the place, the game hasn't come out yet. They haven't said that they haven't made a final version of it yet. And you're going to tell me that I'm being fucking stupid. It isn't the place for it. And that I should just suck it up and deal with it. How How about you get off your knees, stop sucking their cock, and actually do your job? I want to discuss shit. That's what you do on a forum, is you talk and you discuss. That's what you do. How much time am I at? 20 minutes? Okay. It's just being a little bitch. It really is. It's being a corporate bitch. There's no other way for me to put that. And it disheartens me. It disheartens me that it's gotten to such a point that some fans are just going to accept this as is. Instead of saying, hey, Capcom, we really don't like this. This is stupid. You said you'd give us DLC characters. You said you'd give us DLC spec. You said you'd give us DLC shit that we wanted. And what have you given us? 1 pack of costumes and a bunch of shadow battles no one fucking wants. And now you're just going to give us another disc. Because it needed to be out by Christmas. Oh, remember that? Yeah, it needed to be out by Christmas. So we could make more money. No. No. You know what pains me? I'm a huge Phoenix Wright fan. I love the games. I own all the games. He's the only character I wanted in Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, I cannot buy Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I can't allow myself to do it. It is too much bullshit. Too much of bare bones. Again, it is them having lied to us again. And just skating by. If these were papers, they would have gotten like a D-. It's skating by. No. You know what else kind of pains me? I never really liked Mortal Kombat games. I was never good at them. I never really got into them as fighters. I just didn't. I'm going to go out and buy Mortal Kombat 9. I'm probably not even going to play Mortal Kombat 9. You want to know why I'm going to buy Mortal Kombat 9? Because it's a superior game. And it's done better than Marvel. And it's done better than Street Fighter. Do we have all the bells and whistles that those games have? No. How are we treated, though? Like consumers. Like we're not stupid. Here are 4 individual DLC characters, and you can choose which ones you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might not agree with them all. You might not like them all. You don't have to download them all. That's your choice. You know what? There's some problems with this game, and we're going to patch it. We don't have to make a big, ooh, we're patching shit, oh my god, about it. We just patch it. Why? Because it needs to get done. That's a better company. That's a better game. That's something that deserves my money. So what am I going to do when Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 comes out? I'm going to look at a dusty copy of Mortal Kombat 9 that I haven't played. And I'm going to have a PS3 controller in my hand, playing Disgaea 4. That's what I'm going to do. Those are my thoughts. I welcome yours.